Hey there folks, welcome back to another episode of Middleman Gamer. Today on Randomly Ranting Whilst Retro Gaming, we will be discussing Mega Man 2 and the Illusion of Choice. Thanks again for joining me, and if it's your first time with us, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you've been here before, go ahead and give this video a like and share it with your friends so that they can see it too. So anyway, as I said before, we will be discussing Mega Man 2. The Mega Man series is a widely established series on numerous consoles, but I pretty much only played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 10. I didn't really get into many of the other ones. But like I said, today it's Randomly Ranting while it's Retro Gaming, and the topic is the Illusion of Choice. So one of the things that makes Mega Man such an interesting game to play is you get a choice of which levels you want to go to in what order. And I call this an illusion of choice because there are certain weapons that are better at beating certain enemies. So Metal Man, interestingly enough, gets killed by one shot of metal. So you don't really get to test this your first play through, but you do get to fight him a second time and you get to Dr. Wily's castle. So you're going to start with Metal Man. And Metal Man's weapon is really good at Woodman. Go figure. Metal cuts wood, right? Bubble Man, you don't really need a weapon to take out, but we go ahead and knock him out next. And then Airman is defeated by Woodman. Why? I don't know. And then Airman's weapon is good on Crash, and Crash Man's weapon takes out Heat Man. And then apparently Heat Man on Flash Man, and Flash Man pauses time, which does damage to Quick Man, and then you have to take him out with the Buster. So that's pretty much the established order for playing the game if you want the easiest time when beating all of the bosses. Taylor Browning. That's another illusion of choice. Or illusion, let's say. Like, you have a choice whether or not a cat is going to sit in your lap. So they're going to pick the most opportune time for them, not for you. You really have no choice. You want a cat to sit with you, they're never going to. But Brian's a good girl. She likes to play games. So here she is. Alright, so let's get going. I've talked enough. Let's get a little bit of playing in, and then we'll move on and talk about what gave me the idea for this particular video game for my rant today. Alright, so we're going to take out Metal Man here. The other cool thing about Mega Man is all the levels are like their own environment. So when you're playing like Metal Man, obviously he's gear worker type metal establishment, so you got like metal things crushing you with conveyor belts, gears in the background. That didn't work out well, did it? So you have basically 8 different stages to play, and then you get to the end, and each one of those stages kind of has a theme to it as well. So the reason I decided to play this game, originally we were going to do a video on Zelda 2. I wanted to do a video on Zelda. Now, I've already actually done a video on one of the Legend of Zelda, the Super Nintendo one, A Link to the Past, but I really wanted to do a video on Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, because it was the video game that basically everybody wanted, but what they got wasn't what they thought. But it's an awesome game, so it may not be the video game you wanted, but it's the video game you needed. And I was going to try to wrap an idea around that, but then I had a situation where one of my employees had a request regarding schedule. And it got me thinking about some of the illusions that we deal with in the restaurant industry. So, the request illusion. So I say this is an illusion because as far as management goes in writing the schedule in the restaurant industry, if an employee requests a day off, it's not really a request. We always say it's a request and it's not a gift, but if I were to schedule somebody on a day they requested off and they didn't show up, you know, ultimately you could fire them, but then you'd be out a really good employee. So is it really a request? Or is it like just hey, they need this off, you give it to them? That being said, I'm not saying all employers just want to give you time off when you request it. That's not how it works. I mean, if there's a holiday, they have plenty of staff and they're not in a staffing crisis, they might just give you every day you request off. But then again, if they have well-established termination policies on no-call, no-shows, and call-outs, and appropriately handling call-outs and whatnot, then they might just fire you. But I'm not really that kind of guy. I assume if somebody requests a day off, they need it for something important. It's not going to be, stupid. And I've always been in the situation where if I sat down and have a conversation where I have a whole bunch of people requesting off, I can only find one of them doesn't necessarily need the day off. They might just need the morning off or the night off. So you corroborate, you make adjustments to make it happen. So again, the illusion of request. That being said, leads me to another thing, is availability. A lot of times, employees think that availability is their schedule. It's not how availability works. What you're available is what you're available to work, and if you're not available, you're not available to work. So you'll have employees that'll be like, I need 40 hours of work, and they give you a 30-hour availability. Or I can only work Monday through Friday, 10 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon, and the restaurant opens at 11. So, yeah, they want 40 hours with that. I don't know what to tell them. That's not how availability works. And just because you're available for a shift doesn't mean you're going to get it. We have to make decisions based on who's the best fit for that. Is it an ace in play situation? Ooh. This video game would have been good for aces in the places too, because we're talking about the right robot master for each robot master. So like having the metal blade to fight the metal man, knowing that would have been. What I do like about Mega Man is I played the hell out of this game when I was a kid, so the muscle memory on some of the things that I have to do, just came back to me instantly. Like the timing on the patterns on the enemies. Mega Man was one of my favorite games. I'm going to get off topic here for a second, but it has nothing to do, but it's a mini rant. These are mini rants, just mini rant within rant within rants. Because, yeah, that's how my ADHD brain works. So, people talk about video games and computer games and media and cell phones and how they're destroying kids' imaginations, and kids these days can't imagine anything, but I was an uber gamer. It was my favorite thing to do. But I didn't just play games, and this was one of my favorites. And what I would do is, I had a whole, fantasy game tied into it. So I would play Mega Man, but Mega Man was really an android I was controlling, and I would send him on missions to do things, and then every so often the enemy would track the remote station to me, and I would have to pause the game and pull out my handgun, I don't know, stick or a wooden gun my dad made, or maybe a plastic gun that kind of looked like a real gun, and I'd have to stealth around the house killing imaginary agents. So that's the type of thing, I did, and that's how I flexed my imagination, even when I was playing video games. And, we did Dungeons and Dragons and role-playing games like that, so, video games can help improve other people's imaginations. Kids these days don't have imaginations, not because of video games, but because they don't take the time to flex. Kids these days are lazy. I'm sorry, kids these days. I didn't mean it. You're great. Keep watching my videos. Sorry. And Woodman. So we can switch over to Metal Blade. Oh yeah. So I was talking about availability. Let's get back on topic. And I mentioned that just because you're available for a shift doesn't mean you're necessarily going to get it. And then there's the illusion of ownership. So, employees will work a shift for a couple of weeks and then come to believe that that shift is their shift. Oh, you took my Wednesday away. Oh, you took my Tuesday away. Oh, you took my Friday away. Why didn't you give me back my Friday after I took it off last week? Well, there's lots of people who work in the restaurant, and they all want shifts. And you may be the best fit for that day. But you may have requested a day off, and I had to move 6 other people around to fill your shift, and then I had to fill their shift, and then I had to fill their shift, because there was a chain reaction. So, when I went to fix the schedule, I just put you back on in another day, because you had a good availability, and it worked out. Some people might think that's lazy, and yeah, to a certain degree, there is a little bit of laziness involved in it, but there's a lot going on in the background of restaurants, and scheduling is just one part of it. And sometimes we might find out in the course of moving the schedule around that the people we put in that particular shift might actually work better for that because we needed you elsewhere, and you might work better in that shift. So again, the illusion of ownership, like you own a particular shift or a time slot. It's not necessarily yours. That being said, I always try to do my best to balance all the employees' schedule and give everybody a fair amount of hours. There are people who want more hours than others. And there are people who don't want a lot of hours. They're just working to have something to do or a little bit of extra pocket money, and they don't want 30 hours a week, and they only want the one shift. Or maybe mom and dad are making them work to build what's the word I'm looking for? They're trying to build responsibility. Yeah. So, there's that. There's some other illusions in the restaurant that kind of just were bouncing around my head when I was thinking about the topic. And there's no real script here, and just kind of things as they come to me as I go over it. The illusion of a day off for a salary manager. So, I do my best to leave my hourly managers alone on their day off and not send them messages so that they can enjoy their day off. But as a salary manager, the general manager, ultimately, the restaurant is my responsibility when I'm not there. So, I mean, even when I'm on vacation, there is a certain level of worry and fear that are always in the back of my head. I'm always concerned that, is the restaurant being taken care of, or if somebody's sick, will the other people be able to pick up the slack to handle it? Such and such is a great manager, and such is a great manager, but they don't work so well with this person, and, you know, they don't always get along, etc., so forth and so on. Will that come to head when I'm not there to handle it or deal with it? You know, there's some fear. And some people will say, you know, if you're good at your job, you will get around this. If you're good at scheduling, you'll never have to work the third shift as a manager. If you're good at jumping, you'll never fall off the waterfall stage and have to go all the way back to the underwater part of the stage. Oh, I can't believe that's still out there. Frustrating. The illusion of mastery of a video game. Shattered. I don't know if you noticed, but I can play this game. So, recap here, talking about illusions of choice in restaurants, illusions of, well, really choice in video games is what started off, but the illusion of the request, you know, employee to manager, the illusion of availability, what that really means, the illusion of ownership of particular shifts or a job, or shoot, I even worked with grill cooks that owned a particular spatula, and when they were there, they were the only one who could use it. Ooh, I got a good one. I got a good one. The illusion of the forecast. So, if you ever been in a leadership position in a restaurant, and you've been responsible for sales or staffing or any of that, you know that you have the tool, the forecast. And there's all sorts of things that you use to put together to get this forecast. And, oh man, forecast is based off of last year. Forecast is based off of last 2 weeks ago. Or this or that. Or the last 4 weeks average split up by hours. And that's how you get the forecast. And you use that to write your schedule. You use that to... use that to... order food, make sure that you have the right amount of food so you don't run out when you get super busy. The forecast. But honestly, it's an illusion. There's no surefire way to know how people are going to react. Yes, people are typically creatures of habit. But just because last year everybody decided to go immediately to the restaurant after church doesn't mean they're going to this year yet. But then sometimes the forecast is just way off, and there's no method to the madness. If you don't leave accurate notes as a... Oh, did I tell you Metal tore up Bubble Man as well? Anyway. Pay no attention to the name on this stuff. We neither support nor slander any particular restaurant here at Middle Management Gamer. We love them all. And we hate them all equally. I'm Ratchet. It was good lunch though, by the way. Alright, so now we got the bubble lead. So, I was saying, I digress. The forecast can be completely flawed. You can have the last 4 weeks data, last year's data. You can look at it 6 ways to Sunday and still not plan accordingly. Still not have enough crunch. We're definitely not doing a no-hit run here. Still not have enough staff, because everybody and their grandmother can decide to come out for no apparent reason whatsoever. You just hope that you get it right. The forecast is really up. Hope. And dreams. And the best laid plans of mice and men. Isn't this a great game? Never played Mega Man. I don't know if you've noticed 5 reasons you should in playing it, but I definitely think you should. Oh yeah! Catchy music, cool weapons to use, innovative level design, replayability. Like, if you don't want to follow the list of stages you should go to based on the one that I gave you, that's not mine. I did look that up, by the way. It's fairly similar to the route that I would take when I played the game, but I did do it a little differently. I typically would take out Woodman first, because even though the metal is better for killing Woodman, I like the leaf shield for when I'm playing Metal Man stage for a variety of reasons. One of which was to get extra men in that section of the game where those little drill bits come up out of the floor. You could just stand there with the leaf shield. Ah, that was close. Batty bo batty. Birds are a great way to get extra men too. I didn't even kill that dude. He just disappeared. That one too. Those birds are a great way to get extra men, but also keep your level of weaponry high. So, you don't really use the shield for anything else. I think there's one point where leaf shield you can turn it on and ride these little carts around on Crash Man stage. But I digress. See how well this leaf shield works on me. I did have one more. This one's a little... This one's a little off the wall, okay? The illusion of good and evil, right? So this one has nothing to do with restaurants. It has to do with point of view and vision and what you think. So, got air shooter. So when you play Mega Man, you're playing it from the point of view of Mega Man and Dr. Light, and then Dr. Wily is the villain. So if you follow Mega Man at all, you may or may not know that Dr. Light and Dr. Wily were once partners, and they worked together, and they both had projects they were working on together. And then they came up for funding, and Wily's project got defunded, and Dr. Light's project got funded. That's how we ended up Mega Man. Dr. Wily had something called the double gear process or something. It had to do with the power gear and the speed gear. And it made robots stronger and faster and more capable of, handling business as robots, right? He saw them as nothing but tools, so it didn't matter to him that, it was dangerous for the robot. Dr. Light wanted to create AI and robots that think, because he felt that would ultimately make him better. So in the first game, Dr. Wily got all mad because he didn't get his funding and he split off, and he stole a whole bunch of robots from Dr. Light. Now I say stole, but honestly, Dr. Light and him built those robots together from what I can glean from what I've read. And maybe he didn't, maybe he just stole them, but all these robots are, for the most part, industrial robots, like construction robots and Iceman. I'm not really sure what Iceman did, but I'm sure. Let's not even look at the robots from the first game. Let's look at the robots from this game. So you got Metal Man, like Metal Worker, Woodman, like Lumberjack, they do wood process, Bubble Man, obviously they're farming some underwater stuff and they need, Bubble Man to control it. Windman, there's like fans and stuff in the background. They're doing like geothermal, wind power, right? You got like Crash Man, he's your construction worker, he does demolition and whatnot. The only thing that doesn't really hold up is Slash Man and Quick Man, because they're, not really construction, or I don't really know what they do exactly. Flashman has kind of got like an Iceman style stage. The floor is slippery. Ooh, I almost didn't make that. But anyway, I was talking about the illusion of good and evil. So, if you look at it from the point of view of Dr. Wily, he's got these robots, and he's trying to make them more powerful and better at doing jobs. So then you got Mega Man who comes in, right? Mega Man's power is, he's got a gun for an arm, the Mega Buster, and he uses that. But his true power isn't the arm with the cannon, it's his ability to take other robot masters' ability and use them against them. So basically what we have here is a robot scat. So Dr. Wily's got these robots he's trying to make better, stronger, faster, give them better abilities, and then you got Mega Man who comes in and kills them and steals the powers and goes on about his business. He's a thinking robot that can steal other robots' abilities. Maybe Dr. Wily just wanted to make robots better. And he understands not everybody wants a sentient robot. AI will be the end of the world. I mean, look at all the AI art out there. I mean, I hear artists complaining about it all the time, and then I got other artists supporting it. So, again, choice, illusion, what's good, what's evil. We're going to kill Crash Man real quick. because he's got explosive drill arms. He jumps around. Ooh. One hit. Hit him twice and he's dead. Anyway, folks, that's it for my video today. The illusion of choice and other fun illusions you might find in the restaurant industry and just random rants online. Thanks for joining us today. Again, if it's your first time here, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and tell your friends about it. Look forward to seeing you again next time. Thanks.